Right then. For the first time in a very long while, I really don't know what to say after that. If you'd have said to me at half time that game was going to finish 3-3 after what I saw in the first half, I'd have laughed my head off and said, what the hell are you on? Like, that was just an absolutely unbelievable second half of football. Exactly why we all love watching football, of course. But I'll be honest with you, coming out after that genuinely might be exactly what those players and the management needed. Just something to sort of prove to themselves that there is some fight, there is some quality, there is some spirit in this team when they actually be more adventurous and go for more attacking style of play. I mean, let's not get too carried away. Let's look at the facts. We still didn't win the game. So that means we're now 7 games without a competitive win, which is the worst run England have had in over 20 years. We are still relegated from the group after scoring only 3 points. We have obviously failed to win all 3 of our home games, which in itself is an embarrassment, and getting relegated from the Nations League is an embarrassment. But genuinely, there were some serious positive signs, especially in that second half. I wasn't too fussed with how we played in the first half. I thought we did all right. I was a little bit disappointed to see that Germany had 65% possession, because I think the players that we have, we should be the one dictating the tempo of the play, even if we are playing this defensive setup and the 5 and the 2 and whatever. I think with the quality of player we still have on the field, we should still be dominating games. So to see us with only 65% possession at half-time annoyed me. Then, of course, we have to look at the mistakes. And as hard as it is for me to say as a Manchester United fan, and genuinely Harry Maguire fan, it was all his fault that we went 2-0 down. I thought genuinely he was the best player in the first half, Harry Maguire. I have no shame in saying that. I thought he played really, really well in that first half. But again, due to the negative style of play that Southgate was trying to enforce, he puts himself under pressure by trying to play out from the back instead of just hitting it long, gives it away, and then gives away the penalty. And then, feeling like the weight of the world is now even more on his shoulders, 5 minutes later, he does everything in his power, tries to do everything all on his own, loses it, counter-attack, 2-0, both goals Harry Maguire's fault. So, it's a shame to see that happen to him, because I do wish him the best. I want him to do as well as he possibly can. I think he's been overly criticised for the things that he's done over the last couple of seasons. I don't think it's been anywhere near as bad as people have been making out, but tonight, sadly, he was at fault for those 2 goals. So you have to ask the question as to why Fikayo Tomori wasn't in the 23. You have to ask the question why Ben White wasn't even in the 30. I just think that sort of tactical decision needs to be addressed going into the World Cup, but we shall see. In my opinion, Maguire will stay in the team, but we shall see. The other thing I would say, when it comes to team selection, it was made so clear tonight. 2 things, actually. We'll start with the positive, and that is that Rice and Bellingham should play in that England midfield for the next 10 years, provided they both stay fit. They were both absolutely incredible in there today. They pretty much nearly won against a 3-man Germany midfield, so I can't knock them for that. I'll be fuming if Phillips gets straight back into that team if he's fit for the World Cup, or if Henderson starts ahead of Bellingham. It has to be Bellingham and Rice in that midfield if we are going to stick with this 5-back system, which I'm sure we will. You cannot make a tactical change like that going into the tournament. So Rice and Bellingham have to stay in. And the final thing I have to say, and I've said it for years and years and years, and it was proven again tonight, Raheem Sterling cannot start for England ahead of Bukayo Saka. Now, obviously, I said years and years and years. I wouldn't have started Sterling any of the times he started over the last 10 years. So, especially now when you've got players like Saka, Grealish, Sancho, etc., all available that can all, in my opinion, do a much better job. And Saka proved that so much tonight when he came on. Sterling has absolutely no understanding of what Kane is going to do and when he's going to do it. You know, we talk about the link-up play, and they're always going about Son and Kane and how they interact with each other. So many times Kane was flicking the ball on in that first half and Sterling just wasn't ready for it. But second half, once Saka came on, it was there. Every time Kane got the ball, Saka was making the movements, Kane was picking him out, and all 3 goals came from Bukayo Saka. All 3 of them. Both first 2 goals he assisted, and the 3rd goal, he was the one who set up Bellingham before he was eventually fouled. So he makes such a difference, and funnily enough, when you play him in his actual position of right wing and not left wing back, he's a hell of a lot better on the pitch. So For me, Saka has to play. I think that was completely evident from that. And yeah, like I said, I just think there were so many more positives in that second half after we went 2-0 down, because it was almost like the shackles were off. And I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say. Dave, we are presenting. Please, we are trying to be professional here. Please do not sleep on the job. Thank you. Yeah, there's just so much more attacking impetus once we went 2-0 down. It was almost like I said, the shackles are off. So they've just sort of gone, Southgate's gone, right, we're already 2-0 down, so let's forget about this defensive style of play. We'll stick with the shape because the shape is working fine. What we're going to do is we're going to actually push the fullbacks on really far. We're going to use Bellingham as a driving force from midfield and use Mount and Saka as creative influences to feed off and link off with Kane. And shock horror, it actually worked. So I'm hoping he's going to look at that, and I'm hoping the coaching staff and all the players as well are going to look at that and say, look, we can do this when we don't have to concentrate so much on not conceding. And I know that's how Gareth Southgate wants to play, but time and time and time again, we have seen what happens when we sit back. And it happened again today. And I can say about the Maguire incident again, but that first goal doesn't happen if the instructions from Gareth Southgate are sit in deep and try and keep the ball away from the German players. If we'd have been more direct, like we were after we were 2-0 down, Maguire wouldn't have given away that ball in the first place, let alone give it away and then give away the penalty. There are positive signs to be taken from that second half. I genuinely believe that. So, small shred of optimism based on that. Genuinely. But I am a realist. I do think we're not going to make too much difference off the back of that. I still think it's going to be negative. I just hope that, like I say, he's seen what's happened there tonight. He'll look at the fixtures we've got for those opening 3 World Cup games and say, if we play that front foot style of play, and like I said, it can still be in this system, but if we play that front foot style of play with a little bit more aggression, a little less caution, I'm hoping he's seen tonight that there is some world-class talent on that football pitch and in that squad that can seriously damage players. And we don't have to rely on keeping our opposition out in order to get through football matches. So those are my thoughts on the game. Those are my thoughts on the Nations League as a whole. Like I say, it's still, regardless of what that last half hour has meant, it is still an absolutely embarrassing thing to say that we do end it relegated and without a win. But I look to the World Cup with a shred more optimism that the players tonight have shown the manager that if he gives them a little bit more attacking licence, they will deliver the results that he desires. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you thought about the team selection. Especially, like I say, would you be considering dropping Sterling after that performance and the ability of Bukayo Saka? Would you still change the formation going into the tournament, or would you stick with the consistency? In my opinion, I think you do have to stick with the consistent system now. You have to look at what Sarina Wiegman did with the women, in that you just stay consistent with what you know and what you think is the right thing to do. So I don't think you can change the formation going into the tournament now, but please, like I say, let me know what you thought of the game, what you think of our chances based off of that game, how you feel about us getting relegated, and anything you would do differently going into the tournament. Thank you very much for watching.